Hi dreamers, welcome back to the world of Tanidreams. Today I'm going to be doing my very first art challenge on this channel, which is the 10 style challenge, where I'm going to draw my original character in 10 different styles. What I'm going to do though is choose cartoon styles from all over the world and across different time periods. I wanted to challenge myself by doing studies on how different cartoons from different countries design their characters, as well as how cartoons in general have evolved throughout time. The character I'm going to be doing is my own avatar, Tanidreams. He's a very rosy, wispy young man who travels the galaxy to bring his imagination to life. He has his own webcomic series, see the link in the description. I'll give you more and more background through the video, but at least that will start you off. Now without further ado, here is the 10 style challenge. Our first stop is going to be in France in the year 1943 with the beloved classic Le Petit Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This book has had a special place in my heart for many years. I read it in my French class in grade 11 and remember just getting so close to the story. In fact, Tanidreams is inspired by Le Petit Prince. Tanidreams is supposed to represent me if I could escape the pressures of society and could really write my own adventures. So he's kind of a mix between myself and the prince. I recently watched the 2015 movie too, and I thought it was amazing. I've especially adored the art style of the book. Antoine actually drew the book with pen and watercolors himself. He said that he wasn't a professional artist, but I thought he did an amazing job. The style of Le Petit Prince is very simple, loose, and organic, but very recognizable. I've definitely enjoyed not having to worry about keeping everything perfect and even like a lot of modern cartoons. I used an ink brush to try to emulate the pen that Antoine used to hand draw the prince, and then I used a bunch of watercolors to color him in. Some of the colors didn't mix very well, especially with the scarf, so that was my main complaint, but overall I was quite happy with how it turned out. Next up is going to be Belgium in the year 1951 with another beloved classic, Tintin, or Tintin in the French pronunciation. Now, Tintin began in 1929, but his style somewhat changed throughout time, so I'm referencing Tanidreams on the 1951 version of Tintin. That would be The Land of Black Gold. Hergé's style is simple, but a lot more solid than Le Petit Prince. I used a clean, solid brush from Kyle T. Webster for his outlines, and then just filled them in with the paint bucket tool. However, let me say right now that I do not like that tool at all. It never fully colors the inside, and when you try to increase the tolerance, then everything will get filled. I'll say right now as well that for some of these drawings, I found patchy spots after I recorded, so I went back and fixed some of them. With that being said though, Tintin didn't require any shading in his style, like a lot of earlier cartoons. But I did use a watercolor brush to blush up his cheeks. I would say that Tintin and Tanidreams do have quite a few things in common. Both of them are rather simple young men, adventurous, chivalrous, and have high moral standings. That's what I hope to develop in Tanidreams, at least. I had a little trouble getting his limbs even, as you can tell, but otherwise this style wasn't too difficult and I had fun with it. Alright, we're leaping to the year 1979 in Russia. I'm referencing a character named Vonya from the Russian cartoon short The Flying Ship. I really love this animation. The story is about a chimney sweeper who falls in love with a betrothed princess, and she says that she will marry the man who can build her a flying ship. It's a really lovely story, and I linked a version with English subtitles in the description if you want to check it out. I've done some research on the Slavic style of cartoons, and I would say that for their 1960s to 1970s animation style, it can be distinguished by their color palette. A lot of the backgrounds are very earthy colored, but the key props are usually a pastel pink, yellow, or blue color. The Russian art style is very beautifully detailed as well, and the characters give me a few Disney vibes. I really like this pose for Tanidreams. Vanya is a very animated, cheerful, and bold, charismatic character, and this pose definitely reflects that on him. And it's really interesting to see that in Tanidreams. I usually depict him as a very shy, soft-spoken person. I had to be really careful with the eyes. A lot of the characters have small, circular eyes, and I even made them a pastel blue color. I was really happy with how this one turned out. I would say that if I saw this for the first time, I would think that it was an older Slavic or at least a European style. Our next stop is going to be just 1 year ahead into a new decade of 1980 with the country of Hungary. The series I'm going to be referencing is Hungarian Folktales. Unfortunately, not too much research material for this series was available online, but I do know that it started in 1980, so let's go ahead with 1980 for this video. I'm referencing a young farm boy from an episode called The Giant Beanstalk. Okay, it's basically a Hungarian version of Jack and the Beanstalk. The main differences are that the giant has a wife and he is a three-headed dragon. Then the young boy, okay, let's go ahead and just call him Jack. Jack steals a gold-laying hen and the giant's hurdy-gurdy. You'll have to watch the video to really understand it. I linked the English version of the story in the description. I would say that this series has a very storybook feel to it for obvious reasons. I couldn't really tell the line quality from the screenshot I took, so I went ahead with a very scratchy line brush from Kyle T. Webster for his outline. The colors are pretty solid, so I just paint bucket tooled it. A lot of characters in this series are thicker or at least have more volumized clothing, so Tanidreams definitely looks fuller here, and I do like it though. I then blushed up his face to make him look more child bookish. This one definitely wasn't the best, but was not the worst either. Just a little fun fact about me, I actually visited Hungary last year in the city of Budapest, and another fun fact, in there they like to call it Budapest, so just keep that in mind when you visit there. Welcome to 1990 with the lovely country of Sweden. I'm doing the classic Swedish series, The Moomins. I believe the original children's book came out in the late 1920s, and there have been multiple animated series. One was around 1977, but I'm referencing the one in the 1990s. I actually found out that the company that produced that series was a Finnish-Dutch one, and some sources cite it as a Finnish-Japanese anime. Then again, the story and the designs are originally Swedish, so it got really confusing, so let's go ahead and just say for this video that we're in Sweden in the year 1990. Out of all the characters, Tanidreams resembles Snufkins the most, hands down. I made Tanidreams a little taller. I didn't want him to look too impish or trollish. I pushed out on his eyes since Snufkins has really big round eyes. I made his clothes a bit baggy and I creased him up a bit, and I kept the feet rather simple. I finished off by using a soft brush to blush him up a bit. Tanidreams and Snufkins do have a few things in common. I would say that they're both very chill, relaxed characters, and they're both a bit mysterious, and that's what I really liked about Snufkins. Next up is going to be A New Millennium with 2001's Mr. Bean in the United Kingdom. Oh my goodness, this is my favorite British children's show throughout my life because Rowan Atkinson basically raised me. The Mr. Bean channel is doing extremely well on YouTube, and I recently found out that the animated series had a reboot. I definitely need to check that out. Anyways, I just referenced Mr. Bean for the style. I reduced the number of creases on the forehead because Tanidreams is supposed to be a young adult like I am. The head and the limb sizes for this show's character designs are pushed out quite a bit. The head shape was very organic, so that was the hardest part for me. The eyes are large and quite circular. In fact, I didn't notice this till afterwards, but I messed up a little on the line art. This was the first style where I actually had to draw the ear out, and fun fact about me, I hate drawing ears and I messed up on this one. I would say that this does resemble the Mr. Bean style, but it has the most technical mistakes out of all the designs I did. I wasn't too happy with it, unfortunately. Time for our first stop in the continent of Asia, starting with 2005's Maple Story from Korea. Oh my gosh, I get so much nostalgia from this game. My cousins and I would play it non-stop when it first came out, and I even got my childhood best friend hooked onto it. So this is technically the Gacha style, and does anyone know if Maple Story began the Gacha style? I actually don't know, so please let me know in the comments. Anyways, this was the one I was the most nervous about. I am absolutely not an anime or a Gacha artist at all. The style is definitely not my cup of tea, and oh my gosh, that head size. I pushed that head size out so much. The eyes intimidated me the most because I always mess up on anime eyes, but I was surprised that they actually turned out pretty well. The line art was really neat, and I added a bunch of highlights and gradients that looked really good to me. The super tiny body size threw me off though, so I pushed on the feet and the hands a bit, and I would say it balanced out pretty well. As you can see, the gacha style made Tanidreams look really fierce and edgy. I was actually surprised by that. At least we get to see a whole new side to him. This one was surprisingly good to me. I was really happy with how neat it turned out. Okay, I told myself for this challenge I will have to do one style from Japan. Here is an anime style from the year 2007 of the one and only Professor Layton. Oh my gosh, this man is my idol. I remember watching The Eternal Diva on a plane ride back in 2010, and let's just say it was the best plane ride of my life. I unfortunately haven't played the games, only watched a few gameplays online, but I must say that the story is extremely well written and the art is beautiful. Professor Layton's style is very distinguished from regular anime. It's more simplistic, but they push and distort the proportions so much that the characters look wonky, yet interesting to the eye. I love it. So with Tanidreams, I actually decided to change his clothing quite a bit to match closer to Professor Layton and Luke. I swapped his sweater with a vest, removed the scarf, gave him khaki pants, and a green cap. I would say doing that made him look a bit like Luke. I made his hair quite pointy and stuck out on the sides. I had to be careful to make sure he doesn't look like a Christmas tree. I tried to push a bit on his head and his appendages. That's what the Professor Layton style is known for. With the end result, I would say that this was my epic fail. Tanidreams looks like any anime character. You wouldn't even think that it was from Professor Layton. Honestly, afterwards, I kind of regretted changing the clothing. He doesn't look like Tanidreams anymore. I'm so sorry to my idol. We're now entering my home country of the United States. I'm jumping to the year 2015 with Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I never watched the full series, but the little I did watch of it, I really enjoyed. Yes, this is the Cal art style, and that has been a style I've been trying to practice more and more on, and this challenge was the perfect place for that. Of all the characters, I chose Marcos or Tanidreams as a reference. Personality-wise, I would say that the two are quite different, but Marcos is definitely one of the most relatable characters in this series, or at least what I saw from it. This was probably the style I had to be the most careful with. I would say that the Cal art style is very solid and polished. I like the challenge though. I was quite satisfied with how this one turned out. Tanidreams actually looks a bit like Marcos. Our final destination for this video is going to be our neighbor in the north, Canada. With Canada, the first network I always refer to for cartoon references is Teletoon. I wanted to do one of their most recent animations, and that would be 2019's D.N.Ace. I actually don't know too much about this series, but from what I've seen about it, it's gotten pretty good ratings, and I do like the art style. My one complaint though is that a lot of the poses are quite stiff, so for Tanidreams, I curved out his body a bit to fix that. D.N.Ace is basically about a 12-year-old boy named Ace who holds a gadget that can fuse the DNA of any living animals and create a whole new one. It's pretty interesting, but from the episodes I watched of it, most adults won't enjoy it too much, but kids will. I forgot to mention this, but for the US and this style, I actually had to age down Tanidreams to be a teenager to match his references. It worked out pretty well, he's still recognizable, and I really get to see more sides of him this way. This one turned out pretty well. I would say Tanidreams here does match D.N.Ace's style. So there you have it, the 10 style challenge. Here are all the styles, and now here is a full timeline. I really had fun with this challenge. It really tested my skills, and I get to see which styles I'm most comfortable with or not. I would say that the earlier Western European and the Slavic styles were my strongest ones, and surprisingly the Gacha style too. If you like this video, and if this does well, I may do this challenge again. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It would make my dreams come true if you like and subscribe. On this channel, you will mainly see art videos, but I'm also a comic artist on Tapas. please see the description for all my other social media and platforms. And one of these days, I may animate something. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. May all your dreams come true.